Hey guys, welcome to how to create a successful YouTube channel. So the first thing this morning that we're going to talk about is how to name your channel. Now, you guys have a channel right now, and it doesn't matter what it's named. I mean, you can name it like Junkyards and Barn Finds like mine, something like that, which tells you what we're doing. You could have one called Worldwide Pants, which is David Letterman's, which makes no sense whatsoever, but it is what it is. And it doesn't matter what you name it. It could be your name. It could be something silly, like butter no or toast no butter. There's a whole bunch of them out there, or just like Cletus McFarland, just call it Cletus McFarland Channel. Is what it is. So, or Vice Grip Garage, whatever it is, you want to make sure that it reflects what you're doing. Now, if you have a business and you're going to use this as a business multiplier, then obviously just put it down as your business name, because you're going to have to be able to write off expenses for this. Okay, you're going to treat it like a business. So if you have travel, if you travel around, if you buy things that you use as props, if you're somebody who's going to make crafts, then you're going to have to have a business where you can write off your expenses. If you're somebody who travels, you want to be able to write off your travels. And if it's if you're using this as a real estate company, you obviously want people to find it as a real estate company. So that's one of the first things. And then if you're going to do that, in this part 2 of the video, we're going to go into the different types of entities, corporations. Is it a LLC, limited liability? Is it a DBA, which is doing business as? Now, I am not a lawyer, and I'm just going to say this at the beginning of all these. I'm not a lawyer, but I've owned a lot of businesses. I'm 57 years old. I've probably owned 25 businesses. I've also been in the media. I did attend film school, got my bachelor's degree from FSU, Florida State University. I've worked in media. I've had a newspaper column. I've worked in television news. I've worked on television shows. I've worked in movies. I've toured with concerts. I basically have worked in the entertainment industry and music and everything else. I've written 31 books. So I've done a lot, is what I'm trying to get hold of. I mean, I've also built cars and owned cars, but really my life, for the most part, my jobs have been in the media industry, or public relations industry. So I also had a license as a real estate agent because my father was a broker. I've owned a couple massage companies and everything else too down in the islands, as well as I'm an artist. So I have a very well-rounded knowledge of this industry. And the reason I put that out there is, no matter what company you have or what you're trying to do with this, if you treat it like a hobby, it will be paid like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it will pay you as a business. Either one is fine. There's basically like 3 types of entities or 3 expectations of a YouTube channel. Number 1, for fun. If you're somebody for fun and you're doing this as a hobby and then you make money on the side, perfect. Do what you like, the money will follow. If you have fun doing something, you will not get tired of it. Find it. If there's something here, whatever it is, don't try to do something. Don't try to find a YouTube channel because it makes money and it's something you have no interest in, because you will be miserable. It'll come across as miserable. So find an interest or a subject matter that you enjoy doing. I could not put up 750 videos of something I don't enjoy. I could, but they'd be disgusting, miserable, and everything else. And you guys know what we're talking about. So, first thing is, figure out what your subject matter is going to be. Secondly, why are you doing this? Is it a hobby? Do you care if you make money on it? I mean, we all like to make money, and it'd be nice if you make money on your hobby, but just make sure it is something you like to do. It has an interest for you. Now, people go, well, I don't know what I want to do. And that's okay, because there's a lot of channels out there that they're just a potpourri of different things, a menagerie of all different kind of things. And that's okay. You can do that. There is no rule that says you have to be a craft thing or a food thing or a business thing. You just, you're going to start coming to the conclusion of what you want this to be. And that's so that you can build an audience that likes what you like and they know what they're going to get. The reason McDonald's is successful is not because their food is awesome. It's because whether you're here in Florida, Texas, or China, a Big Mac's a Big Mac, a hamburger's a hamburger. You know what you're going to get. Fries, hamburger, and a shit should taste the same. Well, probably not in China, but I know they do over in Europe. So you know what you're getting. And that's really what you're trying to do, is get an audience that enjoys what you're doing and knows what they're going to get in some way. Now, the second reason you can have a YouTube channel is because you want to treat it like a business. And that's kind of where you get the quote influencers, or channels like mine, which started off just, hey, I'm just going to put up a YouTube channel, and then you start making money, and then you start making enough money that you can actually do things for a living. And if that's the case, then you treat it like a business. You're going to have to get business licenses. You'll get business cards. You're going to have to treat this when you do your taxes the same way and everything else. And you may fall into that. And that's, I think, the hope of a lot of YouTubers is that, hey, I could do this for a living. That's why you want to pick something fun. It's also why you want to be yourself. Do not try to be anybody else. I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, you can't be anybody else. They're all taken. Just be yourself. Now, with that, before you really start a YouTube channel for what we're talking about here, not just having a YouTube channel so you can see YouTube videos, but when you're going to start being a content provider, go and look at channels that you watch. The reason that a lot of times these fail is people do two things. One, they try to do a channel they think other people want to see, but they don't have interest in. Or two, they did no research, and while yes, you may be that person who can make an asparagus with peanut butter and melted cheese and it tastes good, the reason that hamburger joints do well is because people like hamburgers. A lot of people do. Sorry. Now, there is, if you go and you go, I've had a lot of people, they'll sit there and go, well, there's 1,000 car channels. How can I compete? Well, it's weird because on YouTube, you're not really competing. You're getting into a community. And the reason there are thousands of car channels or thousands of food channels or thousands of do-it-yourself channels or thousands of other channels is because that's what people want to see. There's thousands of police shows on TV. The reason there's thousands of police shows on TV, or there's a lot of comedies have fat guys with really pretty girls. The reason their wives are pretty and they're fat is because that's what people want to see. The everyman with a beautiful woman. Okay, so it's things like that, that you want something. Or it shouldn't bother you if there's 1,000 things out there that are similar. Go watch them. Figure out, what do I like? What do I don't? What could I do different? What would I do different? Is there something that works? Do you see something that works? You can also go in and see all the keywords they use and key phrases and everything else at a later date. We'll show you how to do that. But find channels that you enjoy watching and then not copy them, but find what you like and then incorporate that into your channel. So that's the second thing. Now, if you're doing this as a business and you incorporate that kind of stuff and come up with a plan, like most of my videos are 12 to 20 minutes long. There's reasons behind that, and we'll go into that in the next lesson. But in the first one here, have some basic equipment. You're going to have to, you don't actually have to edit. I mean, A friend of mine puts up our dog channel with my dog Daisy and Chloe, The Adventures of Daisy, or Chloe and Daisy, and they're all shorts. And she never edits anything. She just adds music. And by the way, you can get music, and I'll show you where to get music that's not copyrighted and stuff, and we'll go into that later. However, you will need a camera. Now, I use GoPro Blacks. I started off using my phone, and I have the oldest Apple phone in the world. I think it's an Apple C. It's not really even an Apple, and everybody gives me crap because it's like 7 or 8 years old. But I use that. But if you don't want to use your phone, you can get a camera. I get, like I said, the GoPros. They're about $300. They're awesome. They have stabilization and everything else, and I will go into that in a later date. What equipment to get, what equipment to buy. I've already done videos of that over the last 3 years. So you're going to need that equipment if you're doing this to start for a business, because people are going to expect it. And we'll show you how to do things when it's a business, how to come up with a formula. Like when I look at a car, I do it a certain way. I didn't come up with that way. I just kind of naturally, organically, it came that way. Like if you watch a channel called Vice Grip Garage, and Derek always, when he's doing goes and get a car, he does racing and everything else, but his channel started out with him just building an engine for an old car. Then it went to go get cars that were sitting in fields, and he always does the same thing. Starts in the trunk, sees what parts are there, walks around, goes to goes in the interior. He has a system that he does all the time, and I do that. The reason that you will just develop a system or come up with a system is so that you have all the information somebody wants, and people get used to seeing a way that you do things, and they're comfortable with it. Like I said, go back to McDonald's, go back to any kind of a chain store you go in. If you go into a Walmart, you know that when you walk into Walmart, if you go all the way to the back is where electronics are. If it's a super Walmart, usually to the left is where the food is, to the right is where the dogs stuff is, to the garden center. People are used to, they're comfortable seeing a layout, or they're comfortable seeing a procedure the same, and you'll get used to that, and you'll be able to come up with that. Now, the third reason people should have a YouTube, and you should have a YouTube if you own a business, period. You need to have a YouTube. You've got like 3 to 4 billion people out there that watch YouTube almost every day, and you have 37 million people who use and just watch YouTube. You guys have, if you have a sales force and your sales force is sitting there doing nothing between ups, and for people who don't know what an up is, when you're a salesman, whether it's a car salesman, whether you're a real estate person or anything else, when someone walks in, they usually have an order. Okay, this is the order that every salesman's going to get. So everybody gets somebody when they walk in. A customer walks in, the next person who's up, they go and talk to that salesperson. If you aren't in sales, you know what happens if you've ever bought a car, try to go on a property, go into some place that sells something. The next person, whether it's a furniture store, whatever, the salespeople, they go in an order around so the next person gets the next customer and walks through the door. And so a lot of times your salespeople who aren't up and aren't working on a sale or closing paperwork for a sale sit there and watch videos. They should not be sitting there watching videos. If you are a real estate person per se, you don't need to be sitting there watching a video. You should be going out and doing things like, okay, if you have if we're selling a house in this neighborhood right here, well, there's a park two blocks over. You get in your car, you go over, you go, hey, here's a park. If you have a house for sale here, you go and drive around. Here's the neighborhood. Here's the closest school. Here's the closest park. Here is the stores you can walk to. Here's what the neighborhood looks like. If you do something like that, it's not going to be just a Zillow that you're going to see, which is just a picture or a fly through of the house. You don't want to just do that. You can show the other things. And if you go and look at a lot of the successful real estate ones that are out there, YouTube channels out there, they will literally do videos every day of, hey, here's what you can do. Here's what you could do in a day drive from our town. They will actually promote not just a house for sale, but a town, everything around there. The other thing is the MLS, the multi-listing system, Once you sell a house, it's gone. Or say you're an associate, once you leave your broker, you don't take your properties with you. Those properties belong to your broker. So as an associate, having a YouTube channel you could show all the listings that you've had, all the successful sales you had. Also, say you're on a cruise ship or you're on vacation or you're in a store and you meet somebody who's a potential client, you just give them your YouTube channel. They can go and see everything you've done and what's for sale a lot easier on their phone than they can trying to go and look up an MLS listing. You give them your card, hey, look it up, here's my channel. Boom, they go in, there it is. Plus, say you sell a house in one neighborhood and 6 months later, another house, you get a listing for that another house in that neighborhood. Well, you already have video of the schools and of the parks and of the recreation and of the hospitals or whatever else you want to highlight positively in that neighborhood. So you just have to go basically shoot the house, shoot the video of the house, and then you go and attach all the other video you have because you're going to have it. Like I have 10 terabytes of car stuff. 10 terabytes. It's mind-boggling to me. I have 10 terabytes of raw video, but it's all in different hard drives, external hard drives, and we'll get into that later. That's under the equipment, getting external hard drives and how to process everything. So that's one way of doing it. The other thing is like yesterday, and you'll see later in here, where we went to a place that sells like off-road vehicles, ATVs, side-by-sides and all. And they go and take you for a ride. There's a lot of successful car places, used car places. If they get a car in, especially there's one in Tennessee, they specialize in like muscle cars and Corvettes and fast. And every car that comes in, he takes you for a ride, shows you everything that works, everything that doesn't. Takes you for a ride, puts it down so you can see every part of the car. So as a business, and no matter what you sell, widgets, whatever, number one, you have downtime. So the downtime should be used by salespeople to promote the products. Now, you say, let's go back to real estate. Now, real estate, why do I want my associates having YouTube channels? Well, it's a force multiplier for you as a business owner. As a business owner, every YouTube channel is a force multiplier. You have 10 people working for you, but each one of those 10 people now have 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 followers. That's promoting your business. Now, you can promote your business very easily by paying the media, the local TV stations, radio stations, magazines, whatever, whatever media that you advertise with your advertising dollar, you could still do that. And that's the traditional way of doing it. That's the legacy way of doing it. But the reality is that I have on our channel, we have right at the moment 4.5 million views from people. I don't pay. If you're in a smaller town, or say you live in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, or you live out in a cow town, Adel, Georgia. So Adel, Georgia has what, one stop sign? No newspaper or anything else. How are you going to promote your farm product, your business there that people could buy? How are you going to, if you have a house for sale in Adel, Georgia that has a population of maybe 10,000 people, that's how Zillow and everything works, is because it's media, it's a social media, it's a multimedia place, and that's the only way. Like Zillow shows you what you want, is they show it to people who are not living there. This, whatever you want to say, the YouTube is a worldwide thing. Now, if you're not selling something worldwide, I mean, even if you're selling real estate, you still want to open it up now, because people are mobile, and you can open it up to people who want to buy and they didn't even know that house was for sale, or they didn't know that, especially like during COVID, people were leaving from New York to Florida, New York to Tennessee, New York to wherever. Right now, people are leaving California. So if they leave California, they want to go to Texas. If you're a real estate agent in Texas, you better have a YouTube channel, because you're going to have that leg up on the people that don't. Because somebody in California can come and go, oh, that's the place I want. They're going to see it. So this channel, this series that we're going to be doing is to teach you guys how to put together a successful channel regardless of what your goals are. This should be helpful regardless of what we're talking about. We're going to go over equipment, we're going to go over how to do things, we're going to go over the rule of thirds, we're going to go over copyrights, we're going to go over everything you need to know or should know. And like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I've done this a lot, and I think you should, hook up with your lawyer. Not hook up with your lawyer, but you know what I mean. You should have a lawyer if you need one. And a lot of stuff I'm going to go over will be pertaining, because I'll show you examples per the state of Florida, but it's pretty close for most states. I've lived in Pennsylvania, I've lived in Georgia. They're all pretty similar on what you need to do for legalese and stuff, and the terms LLC and DBA and all that stuff. A lot of the stuff that you guys may not know about, or the taxes that what things you can write off, what you can't. All that stuff is pretty much universal throughout the United States. I'm going to be putting one of these up every weekend, and you'll be able to go back and look at them. And if you have questions, put them in comments. I will look at the comments here specifically. So if you have questions, if I can answer them, if I have to refer you to a lawyer, if I have to refer you to a government agency, that's because that's what you have to do. I mean, I will answer questions anecdotally, because that's what I can do. Hey, my experience has been this, or my experience has been that. And some of the information I put out, I mean, there's things that I have heard, known, seen that may not be official, or there may be somebody that says, that's not correct, I did it this way. And if you do it a better way, or you have a better way to do something, feel free to express that. I am not above criticism. I am not perfect, but in 3 years, I've been making a living now, and it only took me about 2.5 months to get monetized. And I see people who have had channels for years and they're not monetized. So I'm just going to tell you how I did it. And if it helps you, great. I have 20 years of editing, writing, multimedia experience that I can help you with that. So if you're somebody who's like, well, I know what I'm doing with you, I know how YouTube works, but I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to shoot a camera, I don't know how to tell a story, I don't know how to put a script together, I don't know how to be creative, that I can help you with. So I hope it's worth it. It's basically $1 a video. It's $5 a month to be a member, and as a member you're going to have access to everything that I put up here. So nobody else will. So if you don't pay, you can't have access unless you're watching it on somebody who will pay. And I'm doing this because I've charged people hundreds of dollars to come to their business or to their house and do this with them, or their garage or whatever. And I just can't take 2 or 3 days now and travel, or 3 or 4 days a week, because it takes away from what I'm actually doing, which is my YouTube channel. So this is just a way that it's up there. So if somebody comes to me and says, man, I'd love to do what you do, but I don't really know anything about it, I can say, you know what, go become a member for $5 for a month, see if this helps you. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, it costs you the same as if I met you at McDonald's and you said, hey man, I'll buy you lunch if you tell me how this works. So it's basically a buy a lunch type of thing. All right, so that's number one. I hope it gets you going. I hope it gets your excitement for YouTube going. I hope you are deciding, hey, the channel is for me, because right now having a channel today is like having a website 20 years ago. When the internet first came out, a lot of businesses refused to get websites. The ones that did, like Amazon. I remember when Amazon came out, I was in college, and Amazon was a bookstore. And now look, they basically took over the world. So I think this is something that if you own a business, you need to have a YouTube channel. You just do. And YouTube ain't going away. It's owned by Google. It's not going to go away. It's not MySpace. It's not Facebook. It's not. YouTube will be here. YouTube TV is here. This is the future. Streaming is the future. YouTube right now is the king. It will probably be the king because of the way it's made, formatted, and how it's owned. And the time to get in was really when COVID started. So that's when I just started by accident, December of 2020. And there was people watching, but I still have people watching, and you're watching. And if you're watching this, then that's one more reason to have your own channel. So, all right, guys, I will see you. All these lessons will be numbered. I call them lessons, but they're basically business discussions on how things work. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be a rocket science. I mean, there's 5-year-old kids that have successful YouTube channels. Ryan was one of the most successful when he's a kid. Well, now he's a teenager, I think, but I mean, the kid made millions. There's money to be made. If you do what you love, then the money shows up. It just does. All right, I will see you next time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for becoming a member. I hope you like the other stuff, but we'll see you next time.